Hello everyone, this is Ray Savage with Cambium Networks. Thanks for joining us on today's webinar on the brand new quick deploy positioner product that we just launched yesterday. Our speaker today is Bruce Collins, who is the Global Product Manager for our PTP solutions. And the presentation is being recorded and it will be posted to our community later today. So you will be able to review a copy of it in the future. But if you do have any questions during the course of the presentation, please use the question and answer box on the right-hand side of your navigation screen. Well, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Bruce Collins. Bruce?
Okay, thanks Ray, and thanks everybody for joining today. We had a great turnout, and we're excited about the new quick deploy positioner that we just announced yesterday, and you've probably seen some information coming out from Cambium about that product. Also, I'm joined today with by Phil Kramer from BATS Wireless. He's the head of sales over at BATS, and then also Jeremy Franklin, who heads up their marketing team. So I'll be bringing them into the conversation as we go. So when you hear those other voices, you'll know who they are. But let's go ahead and kick this off. As Ray was saying, we have a relatively short presentation, probably 25 or 30 minutes, and then certainly if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat window, and we'll be happy to take them as they come, or there'll be plenty of time at the end to go through that. But let's go ahead and get started. So the quick deploy positioner, for those of you that are not familiar with what this type of solution does, it is really about the following applications. We're looking at first responders, so think National Guard in the U.S. Pulling up to an incident and needing to quickly deploy tactical broadband communications. So on the back of a vehicle or standing on a tripod like you see in the picture. Similarly, Department of Defense or National Defense or Border Security applications where the deployment is around setting up a quick deployment and then perhaps taking that deployment down and moving it to a new location and then redeploying it so that you're using the equipment over and over again and being able to quickly reestablish the communications. We also see applications in the oil and gas industry. This is where on a sort of a vast well plane where you have lots of different wellheads and you're realigning them every 30 days or so, the ability to automatically realign the antenna and reestablish connections without sending an RF expert out there or sending someone out there to reestablish the alignment can save money and time and get the turnarounds going much more quickly. We also see applications in the service provider space, cell on wheels, temporary deployment. So imagine a service provider setting up for to inject additional Wi-Fi or LTE capacity for an event. That can be done with a quick deploy positioner. Video surveillance in an area where you might not want to send people out to do realignment because of safety or concerns about the safety of those employees or soldiers that are going out there to make those changes. And then we also see some applications with some broadcasting and news gathering. So really a broad range of applications. And what's really new and different about the quick deploy positioner from Cambium, and I'll talk about this some more, is that this is a very tightly integrated solution, and it's at a new price point that has previously not been available for this kind of solution. So if you are looking at applications like the list here, and in the past the price tag of the positioner has been something that precluded the business case from working, you'll really be interested in this new product. It's at a new price point. It's tightly integrated, so there's less involvement in setting up additional equipment. So I think it's really worth taking a look and seeing what you can do with this. So it's definitely worth looking at if you've been interested in this in the past. So how does it work? Essentially, with the quick deploy positioner, it's set up for rapid deployment. You can eliminate the need for any on-site technical resources. So what happens is you can pre-stage the radio, pre-stage the positioner, send it out with the team of people that are actually performing the work on site. And you don't need to send somebody who's familiar with aligning antennas or knowing about received signal levels or knowing about what channel to be on or anything. With this tight solution, you can bring the mast, bring the radios, the positioner. Communications can go live in minutes because you bring the system on site, you raise the mast or tripod and power on the system, and typically within about 3 minutes, the positioner can scan the horizon, find the master end of the radio, and then connect and optimize that signal, and your connection is and broadband communications are started. If that tripod or mast gets moved, you lose a connection, the positioner will automatically realign the positioner and realign the antenna and bring the connection back into alignment and optimize that signal. So I mentioned before that we have some folks from BATS on the line. We've worked with a company called BATS Wireless to come up with this solution, and we're using technology that BATS has been perfecting and optimizing for many years. They have a lot of deployments in this space. Maybe the best time now is to introduce Phil. Maybe you could just give a couple comments on the BATS experience in this space and what's gone into this integration for the quick deploy positioner.
Sure. Thank you, Bruce. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for taking time to join us. Yes, we've been providing aiming and tracking stabilization systems for hazardous locations for over the last 9 years, whether it's on the military battlefield, emergency response, oil and gas. We've been doing this for the last 9 years, and one of our longest-term partners has been Cambium. So we were excited when we had the opportunity to work with them to provide a proprietary solution for the 650, the 700, and the 450i platforms. And I think you'll find at the new price point with the integrated design with Cambium that this is a very easy system to operate. It's one button push operation and very minimal setup and configuration required. So we're thrilled to be able to work with Cambium on this and take this out and serve all of your needs wherever it's needed.
All right, thanks, Phil. So as we look at the solution, it really consists of two devices. There's the quick deploy positioner and the Cambium radio. If you look in the right-hand side, the photograph of the solution there, you'll see that's a PTP 700 from Cambium in the upper right. And then you'll also see the lightning protection unit, which is that silver box on the left. The positioner itself is those devices in white that start at the top of the tripod. And as you go up the stack there, you'll see the controller, which is the smarts of the system from a positioner standpoint. That's one of the new enhancements to this quick deploy positioner is we've taken that controller, which in the past would have been a rack mount device with fans and needing a power supply indoors and having additional equipment. That's been now integrated tightly to the mast here. Just above that is the positioner. That provides both azimuth and elevation corrections and positions the antenna to point directly where the signal is optimized. From the interface standpoint, we provide you purchase from Cambium the quick deploy positioner and the radio, and it mounts to a 3 or 4 inch mount. So we're showing it on a tripod here, which is a tactical deployed tripod. It could just as well be put on the back of a post on a vehicle. So the whole system there is light enough that you could just stand it up on the post, provide power to it, and then and when you provide power, the radio boots, the positioner starts scanning, and then you develop the connection. The integration has been done with our PTP 650. PTP 700, our new PTP 450i platform, which was just introduced back in October, and then similarly with our PMP 450i subscriber module. So you have a lot of flexibility in which radio to select and then how you mount and deploy the positioner. As far as what goes inside that quick deploy positioner kit, you see what I was describing there on the mast, which is the controller and the positioner. It also comes with the bracket and hardware to mount the radio directly to that bracket. You get the pole mount bracket to go to that 3 or 4 inch mast. There are 2 power supplies with the system. One power supply is to power the controller, and that's a standard PoE injector. And then there's also a 24 volt supply, which is used to power that positioner motor. We also include the Ethernet cables with the ruggedized ends and sealed connectors for both the connection between the positioner and the controller, as well as the drop cable for the Ethernet port on the positioner. So it's kind of a turnkey solution. If you buy the quick deploy positioner and you buy the Cambium radio, all together you get everything that you'll need to do this positioner. Before we talk about some more of the case studies or applications, let me just also highlight that the system has been designed from a configuration standpoint to be very straightforward. There's only a handful of configuration settings on the positioner. The basic things like IP address and setting up a username. Beyond that, it's you can enter that basic information. That's all done through an integrated web-based interface. There's very few options to change because we've really tailored this to this ability to rapidly deploy the systems. You can go to the next slide, Ray. A couple of quick items here. You can go in and configure the radio. You tell it what's the IP address you want for the controller, and then you also give the controller the information about the radio. One of the things that the quick deploy positioner does is it has a very tight integration between the positioner and the radio. And the positioner is constantly polling the radio to determine the current conditions of the link, and will make those fine adjustments to the alignment of the antenna to optimize the signal. And it does that through a fast feedback loop between the radio and the positioner, which has been a proven design, a proven approach in many deployments over many years. I can go to the next slide. Here you set the IP address and the community string of the Cambium radio. So now I'm going to select the SNMP interface that the positioner will talk to the radio to get that feedback information. And then if we go on to step 3, you can select, depending on the options, you can select the target configuration, select what is the remote end that you're targeting, and then if you go to step 4, again, you set up, in most cases, you're going to be using what we call bats to fixed. So you're going to have one end of the link is going to be a fixed location, like a sector or even a directional antenna. And then the other end of the link, where the positioner is, will be moving to align to that fixed end. So we'll pick that bats to fixed deployment setting. And then once that's set, that you do that other steps once, and then you click restart the scan sequence, and that's when the positioner will start scanning the horizon and identify the best location to make the connection. Anything I missed, Phil and Jeremy, that you want to point out on the configuration of the device?
No, I think you covered just about everything there.
Okay, good. It's really straightforward, and once you've established all of those that configuration, it's saved in the unit, and then the person that goes out and deploys it in the field can just power it up, and it'll start scanning. We'll go into some of the there's one last point on that, which is once it's aligned, we get this question sometimes: is after it's aligned, can I power down the positioner? And in fact, you can. So you can power up the positioner, let it align the antenna, and then you can power everything down except the radio, and it will it'll maintain its position. So some of these very remote tactical deployments are concerned about power consumption. Maybe they're on a solar panel, and that would be an opportunity to use the positioner to get alignment, and then you can drop the power. So we'll talk about some of the applications and some examples of customers that have deployed these solutions. First one is land-based drilling. I contrast land-based with offshore. This quick deploy positioner is really targeted at on-land tactical deployments. There are other products from BATS that can handle maritime applications, offshore oil platforms, for example, or Navy vessels or enterprise vessels that are at sea that handle more of the constant wave motion and maintaining connectivity. The quick deploy positioner is really focused on land-based applications where I'm looking for a tactical rapid deployment. So in land-based drilling, this is all about reducing the cost and reducing the technical expertise that's needed to go out and move assets around in the well field. So if I need to do a turnaround, if I need to move the broadband connection from one well to another, I can do that, and I don't have to send out the IT or RF experts to reestablish that connection. I simply load the tripod and the positioner on the truck, drive it to the new location, set it up, and I'm ready to go. As an example, here's some. Here's an example from somebody you've probably all heard of, ExxonMobil. But this is a deployment. It highlights one additional capability that, with our PTP radios being able to support near and non-line of sight, the direction that you should align that antenna isn't always obvious, especially if you're in an industrial environment where there's lots of metal structures and potential obstacles in the path. You may find that the optimal signal is not based on picking a GPS coordinate where the other end of the link is, but by getting the feedback from the radio, I can align the radio to the best signal path. So that, in this case, that signal path might have been reflecting off of another surface. Well, the positioner doesn't care where the signal's coming from. It just aligns to the peak signal and picks it out. So that was a nice use case here at in this refinery. Next example is emergency response. This is a typical deployment for a emergency response vehicle that is going to go out into the field. Again, you don't want to send an IT or RF expert out with that response vehicle, but if you have this positioner available, it can be set up on a tripod, it can be set up on top of the vehicle, and now by powering it on, it can find those high site fixed nodes in the vicinity or in the area of operations, and you can set that up without having to go back and get the IT guys involved. And the next one is similar in that it's for tactical military communication. So the things to highlight or bring out about the product here is the ruggedization. The product has been designed for public safety applications, for military applications, oil and gas applications. So this product has IP67. So it's ruggedized for temperature, dust and water intrusion. So it's really ideal for these types of hazardous environments. It's the new quick deploy positioner is much tighter integration, so it's less equipment to set up and manage. I don't have this rack mount gear inside the communications vehicle. I can carry it all along. It fits into a transit case, and I can bring it along and set it up quite easily. And then again, you don't have to have the expertise about the radios. The other thing that benefits for the military communications side is I can maintain that alignment without having to put someone in harm's way. So if I'm going to put this out on a border security or a situational awareness application, I can set this equipment up. It'll maintain alignment, whereas a traditional antenna that might go out of alignment, you have to send somebody out into harm's way to make that adjustment, which means a lot of additional resources and time to get that set up. That can be avoided with this type of positioner. And then that's really the application here for border security applications. Setting these up on a mast, you don't have to go manually realign. If you change the configuration of the network, it can automatically realign if you move one end of the link. You don't necessarily have to go and visit the other end because it will realign. It's also again the lighter weight and the smaller size of the solution lets you go higher up on a mast with the same size infrastructure. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat bar on the side where you can enter questions, and we'll take those as they come. I haven't mentioned, I see one question there about when will we be making this available. So we just launched this product yesterday, so you'll see some information available on our website. We expect product to start shipping middle of February, so we're about 2 weeks out from having product that can ship. We're in field trials now, so we're doing some demonstrations, and so we have some capabilities to show off the product, but we'll see product available in the channel middle of February. Some specs that come up in other questions that we've seen, and you can kind of see on the spec sheet here, is the weight of the positioner. You see it's 40 pounds, so it's getting lighter as we go through each of these generations of technology and tighter integration. The positioner itself can cover a full 360 degrees of coverage. The way it does that is it can pan plus or minus 217 degrees. If it goes completely in one direction to 217 degrees, then it would basically rotate back around to get that full 360 degree coverage. And then from the elevation standpoint, you can do plus or minus 20 degrees of elevation. And you can see here the speed. For tactical deployments, speed is really around how quickly can I acquire the signal. So you can see the 22 degrees per second, 11 degrees per second. The material itself is, as I mentioned, is ruggedized and set up for these types of outdoor environments that where you'll come across wide temperature ranges and different kinds of storms, so you can have high availability of this product.
Hey Bruce, this is Ray. We did have a couple of questions come in, and hopefully either you or the folks from BATS can help us out. Bruce, this one's obviously for you. Can you share some of the list price information? Looks like people are ready to go with this.
Yeah, so as we mentioned up at the top of the webinar, the price point on these positioners, with this particular one, the price point on list price is around $18,500 for the positioner. That's come down significantly from the same functionality that was available in previous generations. So you'll see that as you look at the combination of functionality and integration and durability of the solution, it's going to be the best combination out there. So so that's where we're at on pricing.
Okay, and then also, is there a maximum antenna size that can be paired with the positioner?
Yeah, that's a good question. So with this quick deploy positioner, it is designed to be integrated with with our integrated radios. So you'll see that in the picture on the right, you'll see a PTP 700 with the integrated flat panel. Similarly, you would deploy this with a 650 flat panel, and then a 450i with the flat panel, whether it's acting as a backhaul or a subscriber. We are looking at some other alternatives to add larger antennas, and certainly BATS as a company has other products that can go much larger in antenna sizes to scale up to the kind of link budgets and range that you need. But this particular quick deploy positioner is targeted at these integrated radios. Maybe Phil, maybe take a couple minutes here to talk about what the other products that BATS has that handling different antenna sizes and different applications.
Yes, we have tracking systems and aiming and tracking systems that range from the low end here with the integrated antennas all the way up to an 8-foot microwave dish with a 500-pound payload capacity. So whatever the link requires, we can meet the needs.
Great. We do have a couple of...
We also
Go ahead.
And then for marine applications, we have our DVM series, which is our dome systems.
Great. We did have another question, and this one's for you, Bruce. On the price that you quoted, was that $18,500 with the radio or without the radio?
That's for the positioner. So the radio is separate depending on which radio you pick, but the positioner itself is common across regardless of the radio.
Okay. And I guess for the BATS folks, the Exxon example that we showed in the presentation had a date on it of 2010. Was that just showing the need to reflect, or that reflections are possible, or was that showing that this product has been available since then?
The system, well, that was just showing the reflection capability and the ability to find the signal no matter where it is, because we're doing signal quality tracking, and we'll be able to pick that out of the air no matter where it may be a direct line of sight or reflection. That actual deployment was with the use of our Hardin control unit. That was back before we had the tight integrated design of the integrated processor up on the positioner. So it's very, very similar, but this is a tighter, more compact use.
Yeah, I think it also highlights. Yeah, I think it also highlights the fact that this software platform and the algorithms and capability have been tweaked and tuned for, that's going back 6 years. So the capability has been enhanced and improved over that time, but it's not something that's new to the market here. It's something that is tried and true and proven to work in all these different applications. So we're very confident in the technology that underlies the new positioner. What's really new here is the tight integration, the pricing, and the ability to work with all of our new radios, including the 700 and the 450i.
Okay. We did have a network operator who asks, can this be used in a mobile situation? For example, can a radio connect to one access point and then to another access point located in a different tower location?
So the application as it's defined today for this product is really you think of it as a tactical deployment and a nomadic deployment. So I take it out, I set it up, it finds an access point, and it will optimize the signal to that access point. If I then move it from that point A to some other point B, it will then rescan the horizon and look for the best AP. So if it turns out that that point B is going to connect to a different access point, then it'll move there. There are some capabilities we're looking at in the roadmap for this device that would handle that situation where I'm moving from point A to point B and I want to maintain connectivity. So there's some so I guess watch this space. There's some other products that we're looking at, and then also some enhancements to this positioner that could meet the need If you have specifics on the application you have in mind, I'd love to hear about it either on the forum if you want to share, or directly drop us an email and we can talk about what's the best combination of features for that.
Okay, and then just to clarify, the Quick Deploy Positioner operates with the PTP 650, the PTP 700, the PTP 450i, and also for the PTP 450i. There was just a question here. Somebody just wanted to clarify, does this work in a point-to-multipoint application?
Yeah, so the ability to work with as a subscriber module in a 450i deployment is an interesting one, because imagine an oil field where I have a number of fixed locations that I know are going to be permanent installations. I'm providing remote office applications, and so I have these permanent multi-point scenario. But then I also have a handful of these tactical units that are going to move around, and they're not always going to be in the same location. They might move this week they're here, and next week they're going to be across on the other side of the field. You can mix and match those fixed multi-point subscriber modules to these quick deploy positioner subscriber modules, and they'll completely interoperate as you move around the sector that the access point's covering.
Great. Well, those are all the questions that we had in the queue. I'd just like to remind everybody that to find out the latest on the Quick Deploy Positioner and all of our products, you can follow us on social media. And Bruce also mentioned the community forum at community.cambiumnetworks.com, which is a free forum. There's no charge for it at all. You'll find discussion on all of our products, all the PTP, PMP products, and the Quick Deploy Positioner right there. You can also submit your ideas, and we're also interested in hearing what you're doing so that you can share your experiences with other network operators in our real-world connectivity stories. I'd also like to remind everybody that this quarter we have a special video contest going for point-to-point solutions. Take a look in the Your Stories area, and you can actually win a PTP 650 link as our top prize. Well, thank you, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you on future webinars. Have a good day.